I think we're going to switch now to the contracting overview. So Frank, I'm going to hand things over to you if you're on.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, is the volume good? Not too loud, not too...
It's a little loud, but I think we're doing okay. So yeah, why don't you take it away when you're ready, and I'll advance the slides for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for the introduction, Dr. Borak. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your attendance and interest in the Solstice program. I'm Frank Kennedy, and I will be the primary contracting officer for Solstice. Next slide, please. So a bit of introduction. IARPA and DOI have an ongoing partnership, and both agencies have worked together on multiple programs. DOI will be a member of the government acquisition team handling contractual actions. This will include posting the BAA to sam.gov and any associated amendments on behalf of IARPA, performing pre-award actions. We'll be awarding contracts on behalf of IARPA. We'll be handling the post-award administration and contract closeout. Next slide, please. So to let everyone know, the BAA will be the authoritative document. The contents of the BAA takes precedence over what's discussed today, as well as the information that is contained in these slides. Some of the upcoming slides contain language that is currently in the draft that we were working. Things might tweak or be subject to change, so please make note the BAA is the driving force. Next slide, please. Okay, we'll be procuring awards using FAR Part 35, Research and Developing Contracting. We anticipate multiple awards. As Dr. Borak has previously mentioned, this program is anticipated to be a 48-month effort with 2 separate tracks. Each track consists of 3 phases with a base period of 18 months and succeeding option periods, with option period 1 being 18 months and option period 2 a period of performance of 12 months. Please make sure your proposal includes a solution for all 3 phases, and if not, the proposal will be considered non-responsive and will not be evaluated. Also, the government reserves the right to select for award some, one, or none of the proposals received in the response to the BAA. Next slide, please. Some basic general information. The BAA will be posted on sam.gov. Once the BAA is posted, please carefully read through the information that is included in the document. Please be aware of any required formatting instructions and page limitations. Please include all required documents and attachments. The BAA will include a list of attachments that will be clearly indicated. The government does not anticipate receiving classified proposals for this program. The BAA will state a proposal due date and time. Please be sure to submit your proposal early enough to avoid any technical issues. There will be more information about this as you will be submitting your proposal electronically in IARPA's IDEAS website. There'll be more information about that included in the BAA. It is strongly recommended that the proposers submit their proposal at least 48 hours before the due date and time. Late proposals will not be considered. Next slide, please. So there'll be more information about eligibility in the BAA, and Dr. Borak has already mentioned this previously. The following are generally not eligible to submit a proposal in response to the BAA or participate as team members on this list, or any other organization that has a special relationship with the government that would give them access to privileged or proprietary information or access to the government equipment or real property. Next slide, please. So foreign entities or individuals may participate, but only as a US-based team, either as a subcontractor or an employee of that US-based entity. The prime contractor must be a US entity. Any foreign participation must comply with any necessary NDAs, security regulations, export control laws, and any other governing statutes applicable under the circumstances. Next slide, please. The BA will be released on sam.gov. I will be the one posting it. It is anticipated to be released for 45 days. All information required for submitting a proposal will be outlined in the BAA. The BAA will indicate date of publication and the date and time proposals are due. Next slide, please. Thank you. As mentioned earlier, proposals will be submitted electronically through IARPA's Ideas website. The BAA will have instructions on how to register electronically. It is recommended to register at least 1 week prior to proposal due date. I suggest doing that earlier. Please ensure the proposal documents that you submit are the final versions. The BAA will also contain instructions for how to respond if there are system issues with ideas. I am not aware of that being an issue in the past with the program I've been involved with previously, or as a specialist supporting other programs. Next slide, please. The BAA will detail the method for proposal evaluation and selection for contract award under the Solstice program. Here's how the government will do that. So you'll submit a technical proposal. There'll be a peer review, scientific peer review process in which offers are going to be notified of a selection. Step 2 is where myself and the DOI team come in. We'll be working with Dr. Borak and IARPA for sending those letters of notification that you'll be, you're selected for award. And then at that point, we're going to ask you to submit a full cost volume and full breakout proposal. For this program, we're not asking for a full cost volume and cost proposal at submission, initial submission. We did this recently with the previous program that we're working right now. So once you're selected, the information in the BA will have information about what we're going to want in that cost volume. We'll have a cost proposal template. So this way, all offerers up front are going to know what we're going to require of you if you're selected. And then once selected, of course, I'll be working with my team to do all the pre-award work and documentation so we can get to negotiation and contract award. Please note, proposals will be reviewed individually against the BA requirements in accordance with FAR Part 35, Research and Developing Contracting, and not against each other. Next slide, please. Thank you. Once proposals are received in IARPA's idea system, there's a preliminary review for proposal completeness and conformance with the BA requirements. The DOI team will be doing that in ideas and then handing those proposals over to Dr. Borak and his team. Please note that all information necessary for review and evaluation of a proposal must be contained in the proposal itself. No other material will be provided to the panel. Please note, proposals should contain sufficient technical detail to allow for an in-depth technical assessment. Next slide, please. Okay, there will be more information about this in the BAA. The government will be following FAR Part 9, with the main principles being to prevent conflicting roles that might bias a contractor's judgment or preventing an unfair competitive advantage. The BAA will describe how offers are to identify and disclose all relevant to potential OCIs for the offer, as well as any proposed team members. Disclosures may require a mitigation plan describing the actions the offer will take or intends to intake to prevent the conflict. IARPA generally prohibits contractors from concurrently providing CETA and T&E support while being a technical R&D performer due to OCI concerns. Please note, each case will be determined individually. The BAA will also include an OCI certification letter as an attachment. Next slide, please. Okay, pre-publication review. The BA will also indicate some language regarding pre-publication review and approval. IARPA encourages publication of unclassified IARPA-funded research in peer-reviewed journals, presentations at conferences, and publication in conference proceedings. So prior to the public release of any work submitted for publication, the performer will communicate the results to be publicly released to the IARPA program manager to discuss any sensitivities and to provide courtesy copies in advance to the IARPA PM and the IARPA core. There'll be more information about pre-publication review and approval in section 6 of the current BAA draft entitled Award Administration Information. For those offers who are selected for award, there'll be a clause in the contract in section H. Next slide, please. This will also be in the BAA, academic institutional acknowledgement regarding any academic institutions that will be proposing to this BAA as either a prime or sub. Please be aware of the executive order. We will an academic institution acknowledgement letter is required for offers that propose. The BAA will include a template letter as an attachment for academic institutions to complete, and it must be signed by a senior official of that institution. The government highly encourages this letter be included during proposal submission in the ideas system. Next slide, please. Intellectual property. Regarding this topic, there'll be more information in the BAA regarding IP rights, and there will also be an attachment for those offers who are submitting intellectual property rights. From a government standpoint, the government needs to effectively manage the program and evaluate output and deliverables, and to be able to communicate information across government organizations and support further use of development of program results. Offers will address their IP rights and their assertions in their proposal. Please note the government may request additional information as may be necessary to evaluate. IP rights can be very, very different. It's a very detailed and hard to wrap around what's going on. So there might be some questions. The government will evaluate IP rights being offered and whether they are in the best interest of the government. Next slide, please. So proposal evaluation criteria. The proposal criteria listed here from factors A through E, I have a 95% confidence level that that's what will be in the BAA. I've seen this in previous BAAs that we've worked with IARPA, but please pay attention to what criteria is posted in the final BAA. Please note that there will be a sample format provided for a cost breakout that needs to be included with your proposal. It's not a full cost breakout. It's going to be a table. Full proposals will not be requested at the time of proposal submission. Again, if offers are selected, DOI will request a full cost proposal with instructions, and we'll provide the cost proposal template. Next slide, please. So once the BAA is released, the communications should go directly through me. The BAA will provide my email address and another email address to reach the DOI team. Once the BAA is released, all communication throughout this process must be handled formally. All parties must include DOI contracting personnel to be present. So please follow the communication guidance in the BAA in order to not jeopardize a potential award. Next slide, please. Okay, proposals will be due approximately 45 days after the BAA is posted on sam.gov, and proposals shall be submitted through IARPA's Ideas website. Proposals submitted after the closing date will not be considered or evaluated by the government. We recommend you submit your proposal at least 24 to 48 hours before the closing date and time to ensure timely receipt. Right now, we are working our draft BA that's going to be posted on sam.gov. We're hoping for late May or early June. Once the BA is posted, we'll have a 2-week time frame to receive questions, either from a technical or contractual nature. I'd like to point out that these questions are not individual questions, meaning company A asks the question and we respond just to company A. This is something that will be, once I receive the questions and work with Dr. Borak and IARPA for the response for technical questions, we're going to post that in sam.gov. So please be aware of that. And also please note there may be amendments after the BA is initially released, and that will also be posted to sam.gov. Proposals will be expected to incorporate and comply with any and all amendments. Next slide, please. Q&A session today reflects information and does not override the BAA. The BAA is the authoritative document. And once it's published, please read the entire BAA before submitting questions. And please pay attention to proposal and submission information. Thank you for your time. And I wish best of luck for offers that propose for this program.
Okay, thank you, Frank. So I think at this point we are pretty close to, we are at our break. And so at this point, we'll collect all the questions that have been received so far. I think we have a few more minutes actually before the cutoff at 11:30. And, you know, I will return at 1 o'clock and respond to a subset of those questions. And we'll kind of take it from there. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, the standard disclaimer that we're not going to disclose program budget. Or
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So one question that might come up that we can't really address is we can't discuss the program budget or IARPA's budget.
Or number of awards.
Or any question related to that. So that is that's one of the limitations we have. So yeah, I guess at this point we will break and then get back to the answer to selection questions at 1 o'clock. So thank you all for being here this morning. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hope everyone had a good lunch or break. And we're going to do some of the questions and response now to some of the questions that came in online. So, and these are in no particular order. They just kind of are in the order that they're in. Okay, so the first question is, what is the duty or duration of the energy source, solar illumination consideration that is needed to be made for the program? The response is, a standard will be provided in the final BAA. Additional scenarios may be provided in the T&E procedures manual at program kickoff. Next question, the program looks for minimal surface reflection and thermal signature. Is there a quantitative metric on this? Response is, currently there's no quantitative metric. Okay, next one. Are you looking for a full system solution or part of the system, e.g. power electronics and controls can be proposed? The response is a full system. Teaming is encouraged. Okay, next one. What is the basis and assumptions for setting a goal of 50% improvement for 50% improvement for time-weighted system efficiency over the current baseline? And the response is, IARPA engages in high-risk, high-payoff research. Next question. For the test articles in phase 1, can it be for only one components or would be needed for all the new components proposed, e.g. PV, power electronics, etc.? Response is, IARPA is interested in diverse and innovative approaches to meet program goals. Next question, does the design need to facilitate buoyancy or does it have an external buoyant device? Response is, IARPA is interested in diverse and innovative approaches to meet program goals. Anybody noticing pattern? Next question. Although the goals for the program indicate the size of the system, is the system intended to serve as small satellites, medium-sized, or large satellites? Response, IARPA is interested in diverse and innovative approaches to meet program goals. Next one. Are new form factors or structures of batteries based on existing chemistry within the scope? These would be battery cells that are not commercially available, but are based on commercially available / proven chemistry and materials. Response, IARPA is interested in diverse and innovative approaches to meet program goals. Next one, the target to have greater than 30% time-weighted system power conversion efficiency in prototypes by phase 2 seems to imply that earlier stage development of solar materials and devices with much lower current efficiencies is not appropriate for this program. Is that correct? Response, IARP is interested in diverse and innovative approaches to meet program goals. Okay. Next one. RF interference is also not included. Why? Any RF requirements would be addressed in the final BAA and T&E procedures manual. IARP is interested in diverse and innovative approaches to meet program goals. Next question, is the 2U plus 4U volume given for the space track similar for the terrestrial track? The response is it is the same. Please see section 1D, test and evaluation introduction. Okay, next question. Will the terrestrial design require self-righting mechanisms, deploying mechanism, et cetera, to be included? Response is no. Next question. What orbital or terrestrial performance models will be assumed by the program? And what is the preferred way our models link with it? Should it just be mathematical equations, Excel spreadsheets, Simulink, et cetera? The response is orbital or terrestrial performance models will be developed by the T&E team and discussed in the program kickoff. Specifications for how performer models will link with T&E orbital terrestrial models will be provided at the kickoff. Okay, next response. Are the target efficiency numbers at standard conditions? Response is please see metric number 1, detailed description in section 1E program metrics of the draft BAA. Next question, can you please quantify the power levels that you are looking for, both for space and terrestrial applications? Response is please see metric number 4 in the draft BAA. Next question, well, it's basically a repeat. Is there a target power level for the 2 tracks? See metric number 4 in the BAA. Next question, in the technical metric, the time-weighted system level energy efficiency is specified. What is the time frame over which efficiency is determined from sunrise to sunset? For terrestrial systems, how to factor into weather conditions such as clouds? And the response is, please see note number 1, detailed metrics description in section 1E, program metrics. Specification will be clarified in the final BAA. Let's see. Okay, next question. This one I already responded to, but we'll just repeat it. What is the mission life? The response is please see section 1C1, program goals in the draft BAA technical section, and it'll be clarified in the BAA, the final BAA. And then how do you define aperture area? Please see test 1.1 and test 2.1 in the draft BAA technical section, and this will be clarified in the final BAA. What are the required discharge duration and power level of the energy storage system? Response is this will be a constant power draw and details will be specified in the final BAA. Excuse me. Next one. Does the surface area of the heat rejection system, such as radiators, count as the system aperture area? The response is this will be clarified in the final BAA. And then our track 2 solutions, so terrestrial track, to be fixed tilt only, and the response is yes. Okay, and now these next are more kind of T&E focused. Will any specification or standards be referenced for test and evaluation? And the response is established standards will be leveraged where possible, but final test and evaluation procedures will be defined in the test and evaluation manual. For the next one, for space T&E, atomic oxygen attack resistance is not listed as a T&E activity. Why? The response is GEO is currently specified as the target. IARPA is interested in diverse and innovative approaches to meet program goals. Okay. Next one is, will the thermal cycling be heating to one level and letting it soak for certain amounts of time? Or will it be more of a dynamic approach? And if so, how will it be determined? The response is, please see note number 1 following the T&E procedures and schedules tables in the draft BA technical sections. Final procedures will be defined in the test and evaluation manual. Next one, how will damage resilience testing be performed? With respect to, there may be small numbers of the locations which are more susceptible to damage. Response is, please see note number 5 following each of the T&E procedures and schedule tables in the draft BA technical section. Final procedures will be defined in the test and evaluation manual. Next question, are there any required metrics for DC output voltages? For example, are solutions required to target any standard voltages? And the response is, there is currently no requirement. How large will the vacuum chamber be for testing? The response is, volume constraints for test articles are specified in section 1D, test and evaluation. Testing equipment will accommodate. Next one, will you set baseline metrics from which to judge the proposer's projected results? Response is yes. Will an interface requirement for the system model be specified so that the system models can be judged equally across all performers? And the response is yes. Okay, and now I think lastly, we've got the contracts questions, and that should be the balance of them. Okay, will there be restrictions on TRL number? And the answer is, IARPA engages in high risk, high payoff research. Question 2, any restrictions on commercializing solutions assuming compliance with export controls? The response is, IARPA generally does not impose restrictions on commercialization. Performers must comply with all government regulations. Next one, are the IARPA mission and program goals already posted somewhere, or will they be indicated in the BAA? The response is, IARPA mission is found on iarpa.gov. Program goals will be in the final BAA. Next one, is the test and evaluation component of the program provided by IARPA, or will proposers need to identify a T&E partner? The response is, IARPA will be providing the T&E. Next one, will all test conditions be fully defined prior to final BAA, e.g. ramp rate for thermal cycling? The answer is, it will be provided in the T&E procedures manual at program kickoff. Okay, next one, will there be a request for a pre-proposal white paper, concept paper, abstract? No, there will not be. Next one, will the BAA require proposal for all 3 phases or just phase 1? The response is, offers are required to propose to all 3 phases. Okay, next one, can a proposal that combines the space and the earth-based tracks not be accepted? The response is, the offer must submit separate proposals for each track. However, one offer can propose to each track. And last one, are there any exceptions to eligibility? Foreign entities may participate only as part of a US-based team. The prime contractor must be a US entity. This is not in the draft BAA. And the response is, this will be clarified in the final BAA. Okay, so I think that...
Did you get the T&E tab?
Yeah, I got the T&E tab too. So I think that brings us to the end of the session. So that was fairly quick. So, I mean,
125. We'll start the lightning talks at 125.
okay, so yeah, 125, come on back and we'll start that part. So thank you all.